Hello viewers and people who still support Keen. Now, okay, I'm gonna try to not make any snide comments about it. So, this video is going to be called the benefit of the doubt, and that is because I have decided rather, to leave my fleet of ships in the best shape possible for the upcoming multiplayer update, in case they actually fix something and we can play with them rather than just build them and look at them. And if not, maybe I will bring you some different content, but that will be my, let's say, send-off for space engineers. Now, I know, I mean, I'm not putting any conditions or anything, it's just that rather than stagnating the channel, I want to move into something, more entertaining for all of us. Now, what you see here is, like I said before, a fleet review, which is basically the easiest thing to do for me at the moment, but this time it's on wheels. I know I never actually made a very detailed video about all the crawlers that I made, so I'm gonna give you now more like an overarching idea of what I want to do with them. So this is, of course, it's not my entire fleet of wheeled vehicles, but these are the ones that I'm working on currently, and the ones that are designed to work in conjunction. And you can build all of these in survival. Maybe the carrier, not so much. I mean, you can, anything is possible, but beginning with it, this is something that maybe you want to paste in a scenario and play from it. Kind of like if you want to emulate the campaign for our Deserts of Karak or something like that. Now, speaking of Deserts of Karak, which is perhaps the most prominent game that features these kind of vehicles, is not the only franchise or IP that features heavily, land ships and the like. If you want, you can check out Dreampod 9's Heavy Gear franchise, which is, of course, tabletop games. It also has some computer games in it, but there are quite a few and very interesting designs of land ships for that franchise. Now, anyway, so stop the digression. The Olympus class is actually modeled after not the carriers from Deserts of Karak. The proportions are those of the cruisers, especially the support cruiser, which is perhaps my favorite unit. And the idea is that this is able to produce all of the ones that you see there, the smaller ones, in its well deck. So just let me give you maybe a quick refresher of this, because you already seen this. Sorry, I forgot that now. Yes, lighting. The spectator has a better, sorry about that, better light, so you can build even the bigger crawlers of the well deck. I'll show you quickly. Maybe I can show you. Let's see. Now, okay. Choose a projector from the Olympus, turn it on, choose a blueprint, and let's take an easy one. The Lion. Okay. Oh god, this is just great. For a second I forgot the issue with projectors. Okay, is it? Yes, it's reset. Let's see. Maybe an older blueprint. Nope, same thing. In any case, I'm not gonna put you through the whole process of tweaking the projectors, so just trust me, they fit. So you build in this well deck. I actually trimmed it. I removed the two stops that were here from the side. They were really just hindering the whole, let's say, berthing procedure of it when you like disconnect it from the projector and then it moves backwards. So it's better to have a clean walls for that purpose. So that is the main vehicle, the carrier builds off all of these. Now you can make, let's say, battleship versions or cruisers, kind of like the same size or half the size, but I want it to be self-contained. I want this whole thing to be, you know, able to start with just one vehicle. So moving on, then we have the main combat crawler, which is basically like a main battle tank, but you know, macro size or super sized. This vehicle is designed just to fight others, like, you know, of its same class, maybe something bigger. It has the same characteristics that I put in all my ships. All weapons can fire forward, defensive weapons can fire backwards, sideways, upwards, all that. Now I have increased the interior size of this vehicle, so let me show you. Well, not increase the interior space, sorry, I have reworked the interiors, so now you can actually, you know, have an interior rather than just a cockpit. And I have been using the, you know, half-size blocks, or the blocks that don't fully occupy as an entire cube, so you can wiggle around. See, and now you have access to all these components. You can weld them by hand, all that, and here hop into the cockpits, which is they're more tank-like, you know, right there. Very well protected. All weapons are self-welded. The front wheels are self-welded also. The front glacis also is self-welded. So it's basically like a Cold War tank, you know. Very well armored in the front, somewhat armored in the top, medium armor on the sides, and kind of weak on the back. So keep that in mind, using the terrain to move around. And we continue on to the next version, which is the Siege one. Now this vehicle was out of commission for such a long time, until I just decided to update the scripts in it, and now it works again. I need to refurbish, you know, the whole thing, but right now at its current state in the workshop, you can actually use this and fire the 4 guided missiles, like town missiles. They're beam riding, those that you see there. Also, you can use the Cicada drone designed by Seth to get a GPS position and then change the mode in the missiles. You know, weld the ICBM ones and just bombard target. Now, the features of this one are an interchangeable magazine, I mean projections. Let me quickly show you here. Those are hybrid missiles, and actually that's not my idea. That's something that I think his name is Malmrid. He is the creator of the TNF, Trans-Neptunian Federation fleet. It's a really nice faction, and you should check it out. I'm gonna put the link in the description of this video. So he makes these hybrid missiles, both turbine and ion, and you can use those missiles everywhere. Now, on the moons that don't have atmosphere, they kind of like don't work. They have to tilt a lot. But in the moons with atmosphere and the alien planet, the Martian planet, Terran planet, they work perfectly. So they're more like a middle, well, not even like a middle of the road. They're actually quite proficient in both, in, you know, all environments. A good alternative to making super big hydrogen missiles. So you can make this hybrid one, and they go just fine. The missiles are so light that actually this big ion thruster gives him a lot of power. And of course you can guide them using this turret. They use WMI's Whiplash 141 beam riding code. Now this is the latest one that I'm working on, and this is a direct interpretation of the support cruiser that I was talking about, of the coalition support cruiser from Deserts of Karak. It fills the same role. It's an engineering vehicle that can produce smaller ones, and as you can see here, is more heavily you know, oriented towards manufacturing It has a fully upgraded refinery. It has 4 arc furnaces, 2 partially updated, upgraded assemblers. They only have 2 models each, but that's fine. I mean, it's not. It's a cross between a combat vehicle. It's a combat engineering vehicle. So the neat thing is that you can replenish the bigger or even the smaller crawlers from the side, and especially. Well, before I continue, let me just show you the interior. This one actually has an airlock. The other ones I didn't see the need to put airlocks in them. If you just wanna be in combat, you always depressurize in combat, and you know you're gonna get damaged, you're gonna get punctured, especially land vehicles would tend to be vulnerable. So this one has a more, let's say, capacious cabin. Even has the RP, shower, bathroom, bunk, and of course an access to an exterior cockpit so you can look around. The interesting thing about this is that it's the same chassis still, and I have to say this is still the same. Sorry, not the chassis, the suspension that Bruce Little Lee designed for his. I think it was the first crawler that he made, and it works so well that I adapted it to military vehicles, and it runs great. So what I did is that I flipped the cabin. As you can see, this one has the defensive Gatlings towards the front. So in this one, since it's not a direct combat vehicle, the defensive armament is actually kind of like the main and only one, as opposed to the one right next to it that has those on the back to house the production facilities. This one is still a work in progress. I want to add a crane and maybe some like automated printer towards the back here, something that moves and prints out smaller cars. Okay, now we move on. The one that I have maybe changed the most is this, the Leopard. This is now a throwback to the original design. The original design, let me see if I can show you here. Now, Space Engineering has this particularity that the thumbnails of your blueprints that you create and you upload, you also subscribe to, it retains the first one that you upload them with. So check this out and take a glimpse at that. It used to have motor weapons. It was more like a World War II assault gun with a turret on top. So I decided to change that and go with a more that one with a more player-made turret. But then I just realized I don't need such a big tank to house a small Gatling turret. So I decided to remove the player-made turret that actually Whiplash and Mike Angel helped me build. I still have the blueprint here. I may include those turrets in different smaller grid tanks or vehicles, but not this one. Now, so a throwback was the rocket launcher in the front. This is mostly to assault fortifications, destroy walls, things like that, anything that is right in front of you. And this is pretty much in line with the AAV, again from Deserts of Karak, the armored assault vehicle. Now the AAV of that game, it's kind of like an all-around brawler that can destroy smaller cars and harass the more stationary railguns and things like that. So I wanted to have something like that, but I realized that the way that at least in the Homeworld series, the way they use the word assault is more for an attack vehicle. At least to my understanding, assaulting implies some sort of possession, of taking something by assault. So this is kind of like a tank and FAP at the same time because it's heavily armored, but since it's an assault vehicle, it's more geared towards actually taking possession of the installation or the territory that you wanna assault. So it has a small arms locker. very easy to access. Access to the sides, the med bay right here to keep respawning. All of the service blocks are going to be towards the back to protect them. This one again has a heavily armored prow, which is completely self-repairable. And let me show you here. Okay, where am I? You see heavy armor, front, sides, and we have two welders, one on each side that weld these wheels and also the rocket launcher. And then there is this welder that welds the turret and also the two welders, I hope, unless they change the reach of that again. But in any case, it's a heavily armored front of the vehicle. And I decided to just give you one large Gatling turret, which is quite a good weapon actually, and have these interior turrets to defend against like the Cyberoids, wolves, things like that, other players. Every single block can be accessed through the interior. You can see here the assembler, because this is perhaps the vehicle that is most likely to be used in survival by me and friends. Also here to take your gas bottles, of course the med bay, and last but not least we have this series of LAVs, the Scorpion LAV. Now, and I'm gonna talk about these three, and again about the Leopard assault assault vehicle. Sorry about that, because they do have a theme in common. So the idea behind this one is I wanted to create the simplest vehicle that a single player can make in survival, and then not have to discard it and have to build another one if he or she wants an upgrade. Also something that, along those same lines, if they do lose it, they crash it, they get stolen or something like that, then you're not crying about it. It's not something, it's not a big loss. And it also wanted it to be something that looks nice. So I went for this super minimalistic style. One of the requirements was that it needed to have this fighter cockpit because it was going to be exposed, and this one has higher hit points. But again, you don't want to go against a base or against one of those crawlers in just one of these. It's mostly other players or cars like this. Scouting, he has a full scanner suite, the whole ore generator, ore detector, the survival kit, a jumpstart reactor. This is basically the first creation of a player who lands on a planet. Then if you want something that can hold a little bit of cargo, you change the battery for a medium cargo container. You place the battery towards the back, and the connector remains in the same spot, so you can just drive over something and have it over another connector and have it slightly protruding. That's why it's lifted one block higher than the front. And of course you can install a rocket turret if you choose to. And then the third one is more for like a utility one. If you want to move things between a base, or if you want to build an outpost, you just stuff the contents of a refinery or the components to build a refinery or a arc furnace or something like that, and move around, find a spot, and then you build your mining outpost. Or for light convoy duty, again you can choose to have the rocket launcher just because you can. There's nothing more annoying than manually reloading rockets, so there you have it. But again, it's more realistic to have a Gatling turret in this kind of vehicle. And 2 chairs to carry your friends or recharge your battery, things like that, while you work on. So the idea is that you will move from this vehicle to this one, or several of these depending on who you're playing with. Then build this one as a kind of like a mobile outpost, and then this one as a mobile base. That will be the progression, and that's something that I particularly want to try as soon as we get the multiplayer update. I want to go in with the guys and see if we can actually do that, and then operate from this one. And from this one, maybe you can build our vehicles or set up a larger printer to build the other ones. Of course, it's going to be a in a way, self-regulated scenario, because it's just easier to go to space as soon as you can. But if you want to have fun, you maybe theme the scenario and remove some of the blocks. So it's more like a land-based, server thing. And there you have it. This is what I have been doing. I will be publishing these ones, the buggies and the assault vehicle in the workshop, and later on the engineering one, the utility crawler. So you have any suggestions, any questions, you don't forget to leave them in the comment, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and word of mouth, tell your friends. Have fun and keep playing.